This is Jesse Morrill, College Counselor at Liberty Common High School. During this presentation, I'm going to go over the pre-registration process for 9th graders who are currently at Liberty, who are planning to be 10th graders next year at LCHS. During the presentation that takes place in the computer lab, you will receive a curriculum guide which includes all course descriptions for the classes that we'll be offering for next year. You'll also receive a transcript which includes your course history as well as your graduation progress up to this point through the first semester of your 9th grade year. Make sure you put your name on your curriculum guide, as this document is extremely important to this process and you don't want to lose it. So in the lab, as I give this presentation, students will begin selecting courses for next year. And then you'll have an opportunity to go home, talk it over with your parents, make some changes if you need to, before coming in and seeing me to finalize your course selections. The curriculum guide has a lot of information about Liberty Common High School that you will find useful for the registration process. Again, don't lose it because we don't have enough guides to replace lost guides. To give you an example of what the guide looks like, I'm just going to pull up the PDF here, and you'll see in the first few pages there's a lot of information about the high school, including information about the foundation stones, the capstones, the graduation requirements, the core subjects that you're going to be taking throughout your high school career, and a lot of other stuff. So you'll want to read through that again with your parents and kind of go through that information. The bulk of the guide, however, includes course descriptions for all the courses that we'll be offering for next year. So I want to just take a look at one course in particular just to give you an idea of how to read the information that's in the course description. So if we're looking at British Literature, you'll see the number of credits is listed there. So British Literature is a 10-credit course, which means it's a year-long course. If it's a 5-credit course, it means it's a 1-semester course. Under requirements met, you'll see that British Literature is a graduation requirement, so it actually meets the English British Literature requirement. Under prerequisites, you see there isn't really a prerequisite for British Literature, although some courses do have a prerequisite, so you want to pay attention to that as you're looking at courses, particularly electives, to make sure that you've met any prerequisite that might be necessary to be ready for that course. And then you'll see the grades that the course is offered to. So British Literature is for 10th through 12th graders only. 9th graders would not be able to sign up for this class. And then you'll get a course description, and that can help you just get an idea of what the course is about, and may help you make a decision around whether or not you're interested in taking that class. Now, under general requirements, you do need 240 total credits to graduate from Liberty. And you'll get your transcript here, or you actually probably have that in front of you now, and you can see where you're at with total credit up through this point. In order to be considered a sophomore next year, you must have at least 60 credits under your belt at the end of your freshman year. So just understand that. Make sure that you're on track for that. If you haven't failed any courses this year, then you should be fine. But keep in mind that a D or an F is a failing grade, and you don't get credit for those courses. So you want to make sure that if you have a D or an F, that you're accounting for that, and that probably you and I need to have a discussion around whether or not you need to retake that course. You do need to be enrolled in at least 35 credits per semester. That's 7 classes. If you do that, then you'd have 7 classes plus a study hall. Some students go up to 40 credits per semester, and that means having no study hall. If you take a look at the curriculum map here that we have, and this is also in your curriculum guide, you'll see where certain core courses that you need to take throughout the different grade levels. If you're looking at 10th grade, you'll notice that certainly you're going to need to take a full year of math next year. Your science class will be dependent on your math level, and we'll talk about that more when we get to the Power School portion here. But basically, if you are going to be in Algebra 2 or higher next year as a 10th grader, then you would take chemistry. If you're going to be in geometry next year, or possibly retaking Algebra 1, then we would recommend conceptual physics, because that would be a better fit for where you're at with math. And again, I'll explain that a little further when we get to the science portion in Power School. For English, all sophomores take British literature. For history, all sophomores take world history. So those two are pretty cut and dry. For foreign language, you're going to most likely want to continue on with the foreign language that you're taking and go on to the next level there, whether that's Spanish, French, or Latin. Some students start a new foreign language. You do have to have at least 30 credits of foreign language in order to graduate from Liberty. Keep in mind that college admissions people like to see 2 to 3 years in the same language. So if you're thinking about switching, you need to understand that you do need to get through, probably level 3 to get into a selective university. Also, Intro to Engineering. Now this is a graduation requirement that generally is a sophomore year class, so you're going to want to sign up for that for next year so that you hit that requirement. And then you do have 25 additional credits here. You can see that you have to choose courses. So whether you're taking music, art, maybe another engineering class, PE, that's where you're going to fit that in. You have 25 credits to play around with there. Now the graduation requirements, I'm not going to go into great detail here for the online presentation, but this is in your curriculum guide. You can certainly read through it. We've made some changes, and it probably looks a little different than when you've last seen the graduation requirements, but this should explain it pretty clearly. If you have any questions, let me know. But as we get to your transcript, you'll see that you can actually take a look at where you're at in terms of your progression towards meeting these requirements. Okay, so go ahead and take out your transcript so we can take a look at how to read this. I'm going to pull up a sample transcript here of just a fake student that I created. And what you're going to find with your transcript is you will get obviously your grade history over here, so all the courses that you've taken up to this point. For current 9th graders, you're just going to have 1 semester's worth of 9th grade grades that are built in here. You can also see the credit that you're receiving next to the grade. So 5 credits is probably going to be what's next to everything, because that's what we offer. That's how we award credit at Liberty, is 5 credits at a time. Over here on the top right, when you look at GPA, you'll see that you have a weighted GPA and a simple GPA. For most 9th graders, you probably have the same GPA for both. The only reason it would be any different is if you've taken AP courses. So the weighted GPA takes into account any AP courses that you've taken, and it gives you some weighted bonus points there that helps boost your GPA just slightly. So you actually get 0.002 for each credit of AP that you pass with a C or better. So it's going to bump it up a little. What it really does is it helps to differentiate at the top of the class so that we end up with 1 valedictorian and salutatorian at the end of your high school career. But it also bumps it up just slightly so that's helpful in the college admissions process as well. You'll see completed credit hours are listed here. Again, for most of the 9th graders, you're probably somewhere between 30 and 40. And so that's important to take a look at. Graduation progress. Now this is listed down here. So again, all the different graduation requirement categories that we have are listed here. You can see what the credit requirement is for those categories. You can see the number of credits that you've currently earned. And remember that it's only going to include the first semester of this year. So any credits that you're in right now or classes you're in right now will not be counted into that graduation progress until May. And then you'll see the number of credits that you need to complete that requirement. So now you should have an idea of the credits that you currently have, what you're going to need to take in order to graduate eventually when you get to your senior year. And we're going to go ahead and log in now to Power School and help you to start selecting your classes for next year. So in order to log into Power School, you're going to go to the LCHS website, and you'll see a link right here that says Power School. And so you'll click on that, and that will actually bring up the Power School login screen. and you should have login information at the bottom of the transcript that we provided to you. Those numbers to log into PowerSchool for students are the same as the numbers that we've given you to log into Naviance. So hopefully those are starting to become familiar to you, and eventually, we really would like you to have those memorized so that it's just that much easier for you to log in when you need to both of those programs. Once you're logged into PowerSchool, you're going to get a screen that looks like this. Many of you have probably looked at this as you've looked at your grades online. To register, you're going to go down here where it says class registration. So you're going to click on that link, and then you're going to get a menu of options here in terms of registering for courses. So you can see that we've got a number of different subject areas, and I'm going to go through each one of those here just to kind of outline the different options that you have and what you're going to need to take as a sophomore. So you'll notice here under English, if I click on the pencil button, this brings up my English options. And you'll see we just have a couple options here for your core English class. So all 10th graders need to take British literature. And so you would certainly sign up for that. Western literature is listed there in the event that maybe you need to retake that class for some reason. So if you got a D or an F in a semester of Western literature, then you would need to select that because you need to retake it. Okay, I'm going to select British literature here. For history, again, this one is pretty cut and dry. Sophomores take world history. We again have Western Civ and economics listed here in case you need to retake that course. But world history would be the class for 10th graders. For math, you are going to go on to the next class in the sequence for you. And so you'll want to talk to your math teacher and also take a look at the math flowchart that's in the curriculum guide. And that will help you to determine which class is going to make the most sense for you for next year. If you're in Algebra 1 right now and doing well, you'll probably go on to Geometry. If you're in Geometry right now and doing well, you'll probably go on to Algebra 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select Algebra 2 here. Okay, now science. We talked about this one a little earlier, but when you're looking at science, biology you should have taken in 9th grade, and so you probably have that completed. And chemistry is generally the science class for 10th graders, with one exception. If you are not going to be in Algebra 2 next year, then we would recommend that you take conceptual physics. What conceptual physics will do is it actually will meet your science elective requirement. So for science, you have to take biology, you have to take chemistry, you have to take physics, and you have to take a science elective. Conceptual physics would meet the science elective requirement, and then as a junior you would take chemistry, and as a senior you would take physics, with the option to take other science electives that you might be interested in down the road or concurrently with these courses. So again, if you're in Algebra 2, you would take chemistry next year. If you're going to be in geometry or below, then you would select conceptual physics. Under foreign language, again, everybody needs to take a foreign language as a sophomore. You probably go on to the next level. If you were in, for example, if I'm in French 1, then I should take French 2. Introduction to Engineering. This is a requirement for sophomores, so you want to go ahead and check that. It's a semester-long class that just gives you an introduction to the engineering program at our school. You may potentially want to take more engineering courses after your sophomore year. Music and theater. Now we're getting into the elective options. So you can see down here at the bottom, it's counting up my total. I need to get to 80 total credits in order to be full-time. Right now I'm at 55, and so I need to continue selecting courses until I get to 80. When I look at music and theater, we've got a couple new options here. Some of the theater courses have changed slightly, so you'll want to read about those in the curriculum guide. If you're in the band or orchestra or choir, then obviously you would sign up for those accordingly, and you want to make sure that you get those on your schedule. Under PE and Health, we have 3 options here. Those have not changed. You do need to take one of these courses at some point during your career to meet the PE and Health requirement of 5 credits. Under Art, you'll find a couple new options here in Art. You'll see there's an AP Studio Art class, There's a ceramics class. If you have questions about these classes, you'll want to consult the curriculum guide. You may also want to talk to Miss Ellis, and she can certainly let you know what some of these courses are about. I'm going to go ahead and just select ceramics here. Under English electives, now we have a few classes this year that are new to the English department. Business and technical writing, comic literature, journalism, and world literature. Those are all new options and new elective options for next year. So if you want to take an additional English course on top of British literature, that would be an option for you. I'll go ahead and select journalism for this student. Now I have 5 credits remaining, so I've just got 5 more that I can choose to put into my schedule. Under history electives, we have a couple new options as well. You'll see the Civil War class is listed here. The Vietnam War class is listed. Also macroeconomics. Now this is a course that could be a little different than what's listed. We're listing it as AP Macroeconomics, although it could be a non-AP class. It could also be a concurrent enrollment class offered through Front Range or CSU. So mostly we just want you to sign up for that class if you think you're interested in a high-level macroeconomics course, and then that class will be defined a little bit further as we get more into this process. Government, that's a graduation requirement. At some point in your high school career, you have to take a semester of government, either AP or regular. A lot of students will wait until their senior year on that, but it is offered as early as your sophomore year. Under science electives, we have some classes here that you can take as a science elective. Anatomy and physiology is the newest class that's being offered for next year. So if you are thinking anything around like the health and medical field, that's certainly a class that would make sense for you. But you can take a look at those options and read about them in the guide. Engineering, we have a couple options for sophomores for engineering. These are classes that you would take either concurrently or after you've taken the Intro to Engineering class. But you can see that you've got a couple options there that you can read about. Under computer, those have not changed. The options there, AP Computer Science is a course title change. The class was called AP Programming last year, but the title of the test is Computer Science, and so that's what we're going with for the title of our class. And then you've got the Web Design, Computer Technology, and Intro to Programming classes. Other electives, now we have, again, some new options here. You have a debate class there that's a new option, Classical Mythology and Ancient Greek. Also, you'll notice that both study halls are here. So if you want to take study hall first semester, you would choose SH 100. If you plan to take it second semester, you'd choose SH 200. If you plan to take a study hall all year long, then you would choose both of those. Okay, so I look down and I do have 80 credits. You have to be at exactly 80 or this program will not let you submit courses, so you need to make sure you're paying attention to that credit total as you're building your schedule. Now also you'll see this exclamation point next to alternate courses. So we have a list of all the courses that we offer under the alternate courses tab there. The reason that that's listed and the reason that we require 2 alternate courses to be listed is that, one, not all the classes that are in the curriculum guide are going to be offered and will actually become courses next year. What will happen is, depending on the number of students that sign up for each course, particularly with the electives, then the administration will make a decision on which classes will actually go and which classes don't have enough student interest to go. And so you want to make sure that you have at least two alternate options in the event that one of the classes that you've picked doesn't actually become an offering. Also, as you've experienced here, we have several times with a small school you'll have just one section of a particular course, and sometimes that section will conflict with another class that you have to take. So having alternate courses is really important. You must choose at least 2. You can choose up to 10. So make sure that you put some alternate courses on your course selection form. So when I'm done, again, I'll have the information is all here, the courses that I've actually put into my course request form. I can click submit, and this will give me a summary here, again, just to make sure that I'm signed up for 80 credits. I've got some alternate classes on there. Now for students, after you've left this presentation and the lab presentation, Then you can go home and you just log right back into PowerSchool, click on class registration, and you can go over this with your parents, and you can make changes if you want. So anytime, even though you've already picked a class there, you can come in and you can change it around after talking with your parents. So parents and students, we expect you to have those conversations at home before you come in and meet with me to finalize those course selections. If you have any problems with the PowerSchool piece, just let me know. I can certainly help you out with any technical issues you're having there. One reminder just about your Naviance account. We do have, I am sending out emails through the email address that you originally signed up with your Naviance account. If something has changed there, make sure that you change your email address in your Naviance account so that you're getting the college planning information as well as the school-wide information that might be being sent through that email. Remember that Naviance is an outstanding research tool for colleges, careers, scholarships, and lots of other great information. So it's a great tool. Also, there's a great ACT prep class on there that you can be taking advantage of if you'd like to. So if you have any questions about Naviance, certainly come and see me. So what comes next? Now, you'll take this registration information home, go over it with your parents, have a little conference at home about what courses you think are going to make the most sense for you for next year, and then you'll need to come in and see me by signing up on my door calendar for an appointment to finalize your course selections. And the way that this works is you'll actually come in, you can sign up right on my door. I just have a calendar that has the times throughout the day, and hopefully you can sign up then for a time that's either during your study hall, during your lunch hour, or before or after school. We'd like to avoid you missing class to come in to finalize your course selections. You'll bring your transcript in with you, and then we'll actually we'll pull up your PowerSchool account and take a look at what you've got in there and make any changes that we think are necessary. If parents want to be involved in that process, they're certainly welcome to, but we do need to meet by March 1st in order to get these course selections inputted into the computer so we can begin to build the master schedule. If you have any questions, send me an email or give me a call. I'm certainly open to any questions that you might have, and hopefully I can answer all of those as we get through this process. But enjoy the course selection process. Take a look at the course offerings that we have, and I'll be meeting with you soon.